What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover original show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Monday, July 19th edition of the Vover Wrestling Show. Ben Cruz here, the head of sports programming at Vover. And with me today is my two jabronis with the wrestling podcast tag team partner, the incomparable Jeremy Loss. Jay, what is up, my dude?
Feels like it's been a while since we got on a pod and talked wrestling together. We did it for a couple years, and now we haven't done it in a while.
I know. I'm feeling a comeback. I think we're just going to be like John Cena. We're going to go. We've gone away for a little bit, and when we come back, massive pop. I think we're just setting up the fans. That's a great segue because I said who we're going to talk about first. John Cena is back, baby. The man that you can't see is actually, you can see him fully. He's on the screen, or he was on the screen last night, and actually at the beginning of Raw tonight. He's a free agent, so he's going to be hopping between Raw and SmackDown. But what were your reactions when you saw the Doctor of Thugonomics officially back in WWE?
I wasn't surprised because, as you know, we listened to the dirt sheets so that we knew this was coming.
Yep.
But it was great to see him back. He's got a really nice head of hair. Even under the hat, his hair looks great. And that pop was probably one of the biggest ones in quite some time. Not on par with Edge's return at Royal Rumble, but I would say it's probably right under that because that pop was massive in a not too big of a building. Like that building.
It was Austin pop levels for sure. I wasn't surprised that he necessarily came back because it's been long rumored that he's going to face Roman at SummerSlam for the Universal title. I was surprised they did it at the end of the show in that fashion. I thought that he could debut probably this week or on a SmackDown, but for them to do it at the end of Money in the Bank, massive, just a massive moment.
Yeah, I think ultimately it was the right call because not only did it get people, I mean, Money in the Bank was fairly good pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was really good.
And it was a great way to end the night and got people excited for Raw. I mean, the other option would be hold him until SmackDown and hopefully people would tune in. Now they have the ability, now they're getting people to tune in because they want to see Cena. They want to see what Cena has to say. Like to be honest with you, I haven't watched a full 3-hour Raw in a couple months because it's just impossible to sit through. So I jump in and out.
I don't blame you because it's not very good.
This was the one time where I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch Raw at 5 o'clock or at 7 o'clock. Like I'm going to be there. So they did the right thing by having him come in and do a run in and then have him give a speech afterward. I think it would have been disingenuous for him to come in and interfere with the match. So I like that they just had him come in and kind of play the good guy role and have him square off with Roman. And now we eventually get that build towards SummerSlam.
I love it. I'm glad he's back, and it makes sense again to have this main event, Cena Roman at SummerSlam in front of all those fans in Vegas. It makes a whole lot of sense. From an actual competitive standpoint, does it make sense that he gets to jump the line? I know it's a very podcasty question, but he's just kind of jumping right to the front where everyone else kind of has to earn their way to face Roman.
He's one of the goats. He can do whatever he wants. Like he's on Rock territory now, where he can literally go away for 5, 6, 7 years, come back and immediately have a title, and I'd be fine with it. And it's crazy to say that about John Cena because for a while there we all hated him, and now it's like
speak for yourself.
But like. I guess it's just that old saying, you don't know how good it is until it's gone. And we didn't realize how great John Cena was until he's gone. Like the guy is a match machine. Like he puts on fire matches all the time. Will he still be able to do that now that he's a part-timer and he's barely in the ring? I don't know. But I think of all the opportunities or all the options on SmackDown, he's the best option outside of E. Big E is the best option. Like that's option A. But like if we need somebody to have a match with Roman so that Big E can cash in, it's John Cena.
So that's a great transition to what else I wanted to talk about on tonight's show, which is Big E is Mr. Money in the Bank. Thank God. I was pushing for this so hard, and I know you were too, But to actually see him up there on the ladder with the briefcase was kind of surreal because, again, I felt like with his singles push, been a lot of start and stops, right? Like Woods and Kofi get moved to Raw. So it's like, oh, we're going to go all in on this Big E push. He wins the Intercontinental title. And then it felt like his momentum slowed down. There were a couple of SmackDowns where he just wasn't there. And now here we are, and he has a championship opportunity whenever he wants it in kind of one of the most legendary fashions, right? Like everyone loves a cash-in. Everyone, no matter who has it, it pops every single time. So now the question is, who should he cash in on? And I think you could make an argument for either one. I have an amazing fantasy booked version of him cashing in, but I want to see what you thought first on who he should be cashing in on.
I mean, the obvious answer is Roman, but I kind of like, and I mean, Raw needs it. I kind of like him cashing in on Lashley and becoming WWE champion and letting Roman cook, because I can't get over how good Roman is right now.
He's on a heater.
And like I would love to see Big E as champ. It doesn't make sense to take the belt off of Roman. Roman can hold this belt for a long time. And I'd be perfectly fine with it. So I like the idea of him cashing in on Lashley. And then we have two meaty men bumping meat for a little while because they'll have a program after Big E cashes in. So I like that. I have this sneaky suspicion, and this is just me being like a Vince hater, that they're going to force him to cash it in on the NXT title.
Oh, no. I'm boo you for even bringing that up.
I don't want that. Trust me, I don't want that. But like, if Karrion Kross comes up to Raw, he has the NXT title.
No, I'm out. I'm out on this idea. I'm out on this.
I don't want it. I just have a strange inkling that like Vince is like, oh no, he's not a WWE champ, or he's not a SmackDown or Universal champ. He's an NXT champ.
That would be a criminal use of the briefcase. I'm just going to put it that way. I really think he's going to cash in on Roman at SummerSlam after Roman beats Cena. I just think that's a monumental moment, and you want to create a new megastar. That's how you do it, right? Like Lashley, he's on a great run as well. Don't want to take anything away from him, but cashing in on Roman and beating Roman in front of all those fans in Vegas, like that's how you take E to the next level. Like he's already bumped up. He's leveled up a little bit, right, after winning Money in the Bank. But go all out. Like Roman can win the title back in a couple months. I think he has an opportunity here to be kind of in a Seth Rollins mold where he beat Lesnar before and Lesnar beat him back for the title, and they kind of had a back and forth. So like, I don't think Roman losing does anything to Roman's credibility at this point. Roman, I think, is Teflon. Like,
but his whole gimmick is based off of like he's the head of the table. He is like this Don with the title. So I think that ruins the head of the table gimmick. I think what I'm looking at now is Raw needs a central figure. They need a central babyface because they have Lashley and then Kofi's there, but I don't think Kofi's like the long-standing babyface. It looks like Drew is in a program with Jinder.
Yep.
And so who's your babyface, like main card, like A talent?
Man, I feel like they got to give Kofi another shot, and they're not going to. The way that they basically squashed him last night at Money in the Bank, I don't think they're going to. But can you imagine? Just again, let's push back even further out with this fantasy booking. Can you imagine Kofi as WWE champion and E as Universal champion, just on separate shows, two members of the New Day? That's just an image that I think would play really, really well, especially given those guys' relationship.
It would play really well. I just don't foresee that happening with Vince in charge. I feel like on SmackDown, there's a lot of other options. Not saying that E is not a great option. He's a great option. I think he'd be awesome. But Raw is so depleted in terms of star power that having him come over, you have the New Day back together and you have him as your champ. And now you have him as like your central babyface with his group who can get fans involved and have people excited to go to a Raw and watch Raw versus like, I don't know anybody that's like uber excited to watch Raw on Monday nights.
Yeah, I mean, I think the move I'd rather see, and this is kind of getting off topic and we'll wrap up after this, I want to see Cesaro go to Raw. and have Cesaro be the main event face against Lashley. I think that if it's not going to be Kofi, like Cesaro deserves more of a run. I think during his program with Roman, he was really, really good, and he deserves another shot at being the world champ. So I think moving him over would make more sense. But
I mean, another option would be take Keith Lee out of get Keith Lee off the bench, and put him in as a babyface.
Yeah.
Because he'd be incredible, but I don't understand what they're doing with him. I don't understand. I know that he had COVID for a while, or there was a COVID scare with him, but it feels like they really have no idea how to book him, which is a shame because he's a monster and he's incredible. And then also there's a draft coming up. So there's going to be a lot of change coming that way. And now that this seems like they're trying to make NXT a third brand, things could get weird, but I personally feel that Big E being the face of Raw would be great, and it allows them to have a babyface and a heel champ. It just feels like it's a muddy picture on SmackDown, and it feels really loaded on SmackDown versus having some balance there. So we'll see what they do. I know we're running out of time, so I'll just end on this. I don't want him to cash in at SummerSlam no matter what. I want him to hold it as long as possible, and I want him to have one of those briefcase runs that are similar to Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins, where they made the briefcase a thing and they made it important, and it only amplified that cash in. It made it a bigger moment. I remember Dolph Ziggler's cash in. I remember Seth Rollins' cash in.
Yes,
I can't remember a good chunk of them because they are all random, and they don't have any. They don't make the briefcase have value, and so I really want him to hold it, make it part of his character, and have that thing when he cashes it in, the place will fucking explode. So that's what I'm hoping for.
I'm just hoping they do a better job of this briefcase run than what they did with Otis, which is a low bar. So I think they're not too much to strive for there. Jay, thanks as always for hopping on any Vover show, but especially a Vover wrestling show.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Thanks, dude. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Peace.